Good afternoon. My name is Deborah Jackson, and I am here today to talk to you about early detection of breast cancer and how it can possibly save your life. Did you know that 30 minutes of your time once a year can possibly save your life? Screening mammography is a diagnostic tool that has been used since the early 1960s. Modern technology pathway has introduced advanced digital mammography screening tools that can detect breast cancer in its earliest stages. More than 90% of those women diagnosed with breast cancer survive their disease. I certainly wouldn't want to be one of those, would you? Although I have never been diagnosed with breast cancer, about 10 years ago, I noticed that I had a lump in one of my breasts. I was very fearful and pondered the thought, do I want to know what it is, or do I want to just act like it doesn't exist? Knowing that breast cancer affects so many people, and knowing that breast cancer can be so detrimental, I chose to have mammography screening, and I'm glad I did because I found out that I do not have breast cancer. Annual screening mammography is a non-invasive procedure that only requires about 30 minutes of your time once a year to complete, and it can save your life by early detection from breast cancer screening. I am here today to encourage you to undergo annual breast cancer screening and to explain what mammography is and when you should have it done, how often you should have it done, and why early detection is so important, the fears and the resources available to help you out. Let me begin by explaining what mammography is. A mammogram is an x-ray of your breasts. When you have an x-ray taken, your breast is compressed or squeezed between two plastic plates that are attached to the mammography machine. This machine compresses the breast not only to hold it in place, but also to make sure that the breast tissue is thinner. The thinner the breast tissue is, the more accurate and sharper the picture will be. Some of you may be wondering why the breast tissue needs to be thinner. The breast is mostly comprised of ducts and lobules. These ducts and lobules make the breast tissue very dense or heavily populated. It is difficult to detect any abnormalities within or around these structures. When the breast tissue is compressed by the mammography equipment, these structures become thinner or less dense. An example would be if you were to take a leaf that is, say, thick in nature, and if you were to hold it up, you probably would not be able to see the veins. Now, if you were to take the leaf and put it in between two pieces of wax paper, kind of like we used to do when we were kids, and iron it down and then hold it up, you would be able to see the veins. That is kind of similar to how mammography screening works. During screening, both breasts will be x-rayed, and they may have you stand in certain positions to ensure that an accurate picture of all breast tissue is taken. Now you might be wondering when and how often mammography screening should be done. Under normal circumstances, breast cancer screening is performed once a year or annually. The American Cancer Association recommends that women should start annual breast screening examinations at the age of 45. And I know most of you are probably wondering why, because that number used to be 40. But they changed their protocol in 2015, and they recommend that you start it at age 45 now and continue for a year, every year after that, up until the age of 54, and then after the age of 54, every other year. There are some facilities, though, that are still recommending to start or begin screening at the age of 40, such as the Mayo Clinic. Those who may have inconclusive or questionable results, they may also be rescheduled for another mammography within 6 months, and also those with any type of pathology or abnormalities may be scheduled in 6 months as well. So now let's talk about why early detection for breast cancer is so important. According to breastcancer.org, finding breast cancer early on reduces your risk of fatal implications from the disease by 25 to 30% or possibly even more. Breast cancer that is not detected or that is left untreated can spread to other areas of the body. One of the first places that it spreads to is the lymphatic system. And the lymphatic system is very similar to that of, say, like highways and streets. And once any kind of tissue or disease gets into the lymph system, it can travel to any body tissues or any organs where it can attach and begin to grow. And I'm sure you all are maybe familiar with the term metastasize or metastasis. That's what that is. So, according to the American Breast Cancer Association, 1 of every 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer within their lifetime. They also state that breast cancer is commonly diagnosed, is most commonly a diagnosed cancer in women, and that approximately 230,000 women are diagnosed each year. Breast cancer is also the second leading cause of death in women. But let's not let that word cancer be a scary word. Some women you may know or you may not know have had breast cancer, including friends, relatives, neighbors. We hear about it in the news, we read about it in the newspapers, and we see it all over the internet. The fears are normal, and they can be a very uncomfortable feeling or a very uncomfortable experience. I know, as at one time I experienced it myself. These fears can lead to avoiding annual screening, but it is most important for you to remember that the sooner you undergo your annual examination, the sooner you will know your situation. Never let those fears stop you from making a good choice when it comes to annual breast cancer screening. And don't let finances or resources get in the way of your early detection either. The National Breast Cancer Foundation has partnered with many medical facilities across the country to help those in need of mammography services. The American Cancer Society also provides assistance to those who are underinsured, or to those who have no insurance, or to those that lack financial resources. So if you're one of those with fears or lack of resources, I have provided you with some contact information, and it is my hope that you will contact one of these organizations or foundations to get you on track to your annual screening mammography. So in conclusion today, we have covered what mammography is, and that it only takes 30 minutes once a year of your time. It is simply x-ray pictures of your breasts that are utilized to detect breast cancer. Don't forget, if you are at the age of 45, that it is highly recommended that you begin your annual screening exam. Remember, it is always best to catch breast cancer in its earliest stages. And also, if you experience any fears, I highly encourage you to use the numbers or the web links to the associations and foundations. They are there to help you overcome your fears and assist you with getting screened. Thank you. Anybody have any questions?
I do.
Yes?
Do you know why the American Cancer Society has recommended only up to 55 every year, and after that every other year? Because so many elderly people are getting cancer, why aren't they encouraging it every year?
Yeah, and you know, I don't know. The age is actually 54, and that is a very good question. I know the last time I had a mammography done, they had told me that you have a better chance of getting breast cancer in your later years than you do in your earlier years. So I'm not sure why. And they just changed this protocol, I think it was in October of 2015. So it didn't state in the article what their reasoning was. But I know that I did read an article from the Mayo Foundation that states that they were aware that the American Cancer Society had changed theirs to the age of 45, but that they were going to leave theirs at the age of 40. So it's highly recommended that you visit with your physician about it.
Thank you.
So, thank you. And thank you all so much for today. I greatly appreciate it.